Hey there everybody, it's the Doctor here with Typical Manga Fan, and today we're going to be going over Bleach, chapter 630, The Twinned Twilight. And we open it with Grimjo kicking ass.
Well, let's be safe here and say that Askin probably doesn't care, considering that he's the D. He's been killed by the Royal God before, so he's probably just like, oh, this hurts, whatever.
Yeah, it is kind of amusing watching him just like run the hell away.
Yeah, I think he's it's kind of interesting because didn't he kind of do the same thing with Mayuri, where he kind of tried to lure him into his like his quote unquote area or his territory?
Well, you mean Mayuri?
Mayuri, yeah. The captain, the 12th Division captain. Remember,
right.
Askin first appeared to Mayuri, and Askin was like, being like a wuss.
Oh, during the
during the first attack or the second attack, or I don't know. Actually, was it first attack?
I want to say it was the second one because it doesn't matter. But go ahead.
Whatever. Well, it was the first one. Not including the one with the first lieutenant, the first division lieutenant. But yeah. He's like, hey, I don't want to fight you. I'll just go over here where I won't do anything. And then Mayuri said that, oh, you just want me to go into your territory. And then he says, oh, how scary. Remember that?
A little bit. But yeah. Right now, Grimjo is chasing Askin.
Yeah, exactly.
Actually, Grimjo points out that he's actually Ichigo's enemy, so Askin tries to pull the enemy of my enemy is my friend routine, but Grimjo don't care. Just keep running.
Yeah. Keep in mind that this is a guy who, slaughtered two of Manoli and Loli, who were two of the Arankars working for Aizen. So obviously he doesn't kill off friendly killing.
Yeah, and also he wants to fight Ichigo.
Yeah. But I think my prediction though was that I think Askin's luring him to his quote unquote territory so that way he can gain control over the situation against Grimjaw. Because there's no way he's gonna run away like that. He's an elite member, and there's a reason for that.
Yep. So. And we already know what he can do a little bit from the fight with the Royal Squad. And the next page pretty much brings me to my first big problem with the chapter. Can you guess what it is?
I mean the title page from the title page?
No.
What is it?
If the Oswalin killed off all the other Quincy, where did Mustache Man come from?
Oh well, he's not considered a Stern Reader.
But he's still a Quincy.
No, the Quincy's are still around. They killed all the Stern Raiders.
Okay, so I thought they killed everyone except for the Royal Squad or the Elite Squad.
No, they killed all the Stern Raiders. They tried to kill all the Stern Raiders. They left the foot soldiers because I don't think those guys make any difference. So they might as well just use them.
Yeah. But still, it just seems out of place because they made a big deal about killing everybody, at least whether Stern Ritter or not.
No, it
doesn't matter because he dies in the next page, couple pages anyway.
Yeah, but no, they would use. I remember that he had a lot of them underneath his coat. He had a lot of foot soldiers that were killed off pretty quickly by the Royal Guard, but they were still there.
Okay, that could be my faulty memory in that case. But basically, Mustache Mook is reporting that the Sustaffel have gone off in 5 different directions to fight the enemy, which Hauswald realizes means that includes Uryu as well, who he did not want going off on his own.
Yeah, he doesn't trust Uryu. So obviously there's not a full connection going on here. So Uryu has some agenda going on, and I still think he's not fully. I mean, let's face it. There's no way. There's no freaking way he's actually with the Bonnet. There's no way. There's got to be some type of catch. It may not be the catch that we think it is, but there's still a catch.
And Hauswald's smart enough to realize that, but it's he also realizes that the Sustwaffel have also acknowledged him. They like him, so they would trust him, even if it's not necessarily wise to do so. And then at that moment, Mustache Mook's eye gets stabbed out.
By Basby. I mean, seriously, what the hell is with Team... Yeah.
The Red Rider BB gun himself.
What the hell? How many times has a Quincy team killed someone? Literally, how many times? Everyone does it. Mm-hmm. I think, is that their initiation? Oh, to be a Stern Raider, you gotta kill this Stern Raider?
Yep.
I mean, seriously. But anyway, so they, Hashwald's somewhat surprised that he's alive, and he doesn't really give a crap. And then Basby tries to attack Hashwald using his burner finger, aka this OP bullshit ability that's somehow just as strong as Yamamoto's ability.
Yep.
And they fight a bit, blah blah blah.
And Hashwald realized that his wounds are actually from the Oswalin, so realizing he was not chosen. And it's not just him, but the other. Then he also he's also realizing that like he's putting that we were wiped out. The ones who managed to hide in the void, the light lost their Volstern ditch.
Yeah.
I probably mispronounced that badly. And he's pretty much just pissed off at Oswald because he knew this would happen.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just like, yeah.
I think
It's like,
now, though, I think I get an idea of why Basby in particular is so pissed off about this.
yeah,
Because apparently he considered Oswald a friend. Like, he calls him by a whole different name on there, Jugo.
yeah. It's just weird because there's the concept. First off, you have the concept of friendship with a organization that literally feeds off of killing. I mean, look, the Quincy's always disturb me just because how much they try to kill each other.
Yep.
But it's done in such a way that it's not like, oh my gosh, these guys are so evil that they're killing each other. It's just done in a way it's like this. What the hell, man? Like there was no reason. Like that was it's just so. It's just kind of disturbing, but in a bad way, not in a good way that I think he's trying to intend it.
Yep.
Because it's just like you had this situation where Bazby's like, oh yeah, aren't we friends, Jugram? And he's like, well, and he's like, well, you called me Baz back in the day,
Mm-hmm.
And so apparently these guys like used to be like kids, like childhood friends or something like that. And for some reason, Hashwold like doesn't give a shit about Bazby, and Bazby's like, oh, I wouldn't, if I were you, I would have,
Yep.
been I cared or something.
But
And he says that he wants to kill not necessarily the king, but the king's power.
and
Which
from what he's saying,
yeah.
they're like, when night falls, his power and Oswald's will switch.
That's a weird. Yeah, I mean, it was actually mentioned before, but I'm always wondering why specifically.
Maybe powers has to be active in some form or another. Of course,
Yeah,
this
so-
last page
yeah.
brings me on to my second big problem with this chapter.
You don't give a shit about Bazby's story, flashback.
Pretty much. I mean, a flashback
Yeah.
now of all times.
Yeah,
I mean, as much as we got on Kubo's
yeah.
case about stalling and dragging this out, a flashback of all times at this time. I mean, I used to think Tenjo Tenge was the textbook for bad flashbacking, but holy crap, right now?
Yeah, you know what? We don't care about Bazby, okay? Like honestly, I don't care about any of these Quincy's. They're literally like nobody likes them. That's the thing. I don't think they're even liked by the audience because I think they're so like most of them are literally, no pun intended, soulless because they're just there to overpower the Shinigami and they have really bullshit powers and that's it. And now we're giving them a backstory to give them character development. It's too late for that. Okay, we kind of want to. The problem is we're tired of the storyline stalling, so we don't care about how long it takes to
Right.
explain why Bazby is Bazby, and we kind of infer that a lot of these Quincy's were like, either like hospitalized or poor or like runts basically, and that maybe Yuobok probably picked them up and said, "Hey, I'll give you some power," and to them he was like their savior, hence why they accepted his abilities.
Right. I mean,
And obviously, this is what the first scene of this flashback is everything's on fire, and Bazby's obviously, it's still a Bazby
Responsible.
showing that or maybe not responsible, maybe he's in despair. Although one would argue that he is responsible because he has his powers as fire, and maybe he did this accidentally when he got out of control. And that's. But honestly, who cares? Like, I don't care about the relationship between Bazby and Jugram.
at least not enough to give it a full flashback.
Yeah, because honestly, like. He's gonna die. I mean, that's the thing. Flashbacks are AKA, or like what basically shows that they're gonna die. So what's the point after once Bazby dies? Oh, now we know that the Queens used to be people. We kind of got that from Asnote. So
Yeah, and also like the one that really did it for me, I think was the twins. I think I forget the story in detail, but I remember that they did go into detail about how they were quote unquote saved by Ewok.
yeah, the twins couldn't. They couldn't feel anything. I remember correctly, right?
No, that was Ewok himself. Like he couldn't feel, see, hear.
Oh,
none of
okay,
that.
yeah. I was confused with them. I'm actually confusing a Dead Man Wonderland thing. Never mind. But no, the twins. The twins. They did go into depth about the twins' birth and how they had like abilities and no one could tell from each other who they were from each other. But yeah, and that was just to explain. That was just to be like a build up to like the surprise that it turns out that the Yubok that Yamamoto killed was actually just fake. It's just, I get giving us villains a backstory. I don't care at this point. So it's
Not
a waste
really.
of time. And,
I mean,
and
I only hope at this point that the flashback is not more than one chapter.
Yeah.
If it's more than one chapter, fuck it.
Yeah, and I know what a lot of you is gonna say. Oh, if he doesn't do this, then it's gonna be worse because it's you have shallow characters. The problem is
Yeah.
he wrote himself in this corner. He made it so that it's a lose-lose situation no matter what he does, because even if he writes a story, he's just stretching out even
And
longer than he has. And if he
you
does do the
could,
story.
and in theory, you could just as easily use dialogue to get the same. Well, depending on the nature of the flashback, I'll say that first. Depending on the nature of the flashback, you could still use like dialogue to get a lot of the same points across. I mean, it'll violate the old rule of "so don't tell," but it would also like move things along quicker.
The problem is, again, it wouldn't have been as bad. We might have been able to accept this flashback if he hasn't been stretching out the story for long.
Exactly. I mean, had the pacing been a little bit quicker to begin with,
Yeah.
we probably would be excited for this, even if we didn't
Like,
necessarily care about
the
them.
best example is the back to the pendulum thing with the visors.
Oh,
As much as that story was needed, it was horrible timing. It was horrible timing.
mm,
Like, it was addicting to do because everything was hyped up for a fight, and you're like, nope, flashback. So you
right.
hyped this up, and then you said we're going to go away for a long time, and there was so much build up, and it took so long to get to that point that you really wanted a payoff that he's just like, nope, you're getting the payoff in 2 years, not or 1 year, not now. So that when you actually do come back to the story, you just kind of the hype has already died down. The issue, I don't like how he's doing this. It's just
Yeah.
like, yeah, you can argue, well, he's trying to give characters development. It's like, okay, but the problem is he didn't do it soon enough. So now that he has done it, it's just a waste of time. It's one of those it's a cut your loss type of thing, you know?
Yeah. I mean, like I said, if the timing had been a little tighter to begin with, I mean, I don't know if we wouldn't have complained at all, but at least we wouldn't have been. I at least wouldn't have been bothered too much by it because, okay, we're moving along. We're gonna take a quick little detour. That's fine.
And I hope that Basby's like the last one, because I swear to God, if we do one for both Zombie Girl and Gluttony Girl, I swear to God, I'm just gonna rage because we don't have time for 6 different flashbacks.
We have neither time nor inclination.
Man, the really reason Bleach. The thing with Bleach is that why people are still reading it is because it takes like 20 seconds of your time. It takes almost no effort. That's why we still read it, because we still get something out of 20 seconds. You know. Yeah. All right, I think that's about it.
Yeah, like I said, at this point, we're just gonna get the flashback with the Red Ryder BB gun. He put an eye out, and we're gonna see how it goes from there. Hopefully, I really hope it doesn't take more than one chapter or even to get it through it. But I guess we'll have to see about that.
People like this chapter, by the way,
Really?
because they like exactly what I've said. They like the fact that it's quote unquote exploring the character's depth, but
Too little, too late.
that's the thing. People like Hashwell, people like Basby, and they're like, hey, we get some more more character. But the problem is Hashwell and Basby, like, we kind of like the thing with Hashwell is I think we can really we understand him without a flashback. And the fact is, I think they're only popular just because they're kind of overpowered, to be honest with you.
Hmm.
I don't know. I just can't differentiate them from the Orankars from the previous arc.
Yeah, I mean, at least not in any positive way. In any case.
No, to me they're just really over OP and shallow characters that are like that I can't really differentiate from all the other like huge cast that Bleach has.
Right, too many characters too quickly. That at least is not a problem at the moment, because at least the people who are still around are at least established. But in the meantime, like I said, that's been One Piece chapter 630. Like I said, hopefully at 631 will be all we need to for the Basby Oswald flashback, and then we'll get back to the action soon enough. But I kind of doubt it. But in the meantime, go ahead and take us away.
Bye.